Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point on AFR Talk. We will take your calls here in just a moment. 888-589-8840 will be the number to call. And I just, before we go to the phones, one of the things we have said about liberalism is that it fails on every level. It is an absolute, colossal, spectacular failure. Liberalism, progressivism, socialism, however you want to describe it, has never worked anywhere at any time. Michael Moore is out there trumpeting the wonders of the Cuban healthcare system. And then we read, I brought this story to you a couple of weeks ago, that the doctors in Cuba just got a huge raise, a huge monster raise, over 100%. They're now making $67 a month. Nurses got a raise to $25 a month. And this is supposed to be the premier medical system in all the world, according to Michael Moore. I mentioned all you need to know about Cuba, as a socialist paradise, is that toilet seats are a luxury item. Toilet seats are a luxury item in Cuba, which is a communist country. It's officially communist, officially atheistic. And these families, they spring $100 for a toilet bowl. They don't have another 12 or 15 or 20 bucks to get a seat for the thing. So everywhere we went in Cuba, you had these bowls with no seats because it's a luxury item. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know about Cuba. Toilet seats are a luxury, and doctors get paid $67 a month. Those are the only two things you need to know about how well socialism works. Now, here's a story from Chicago, the CBS affiliate in Chicago, and they have a map on their website that is an amazing graphic. And here is the heading of the piece: amazing graphic shows Chicago's middle class disappear before your eyes. Now, they go back to 1970, and they take a look demographically at Chicago in 1970 and how much of the city consisted of people who were in the middle class. And then they fast forward in time and take snapshots with these little boxes to show the movement of wealth. And here's just some excerpts from the article. The graphic that you are about to see is sobering, perhaps depressing, and you can't take your eyes off of it. We have the exhaustive work of Daniel K. Hertz, a master's student at the University of Chicago's Harris School of Public Policy, to thank for that. It shows the demise of the foundation of an American city, which is the middle class. Watch as the gray squares, which illustrate the middle class that dominated the most of the city's neighborhoods in the 1970s, quickly vanish over 40 years. The poor, represented by the orange and red colors, explode across the map. Well, this is a city that has been run by Democrats, liberal Democrats, since the 1960s. Unrelentingly, without exception, Democrats have run the city of Chicago. And so you can go back to 1970 and trace the disappearance of the middle class. It's gone. Why has the middle class disappeared in Chicago? Because liberals have ruled that city for decades. Liberalism never has worked, never will work. It cannot work because it's fundamentally contrary to the principles of the scripture. All right, let's go to the phones, grab some calls. Let's start with Don in Milan, Illinois. Don, welcome. What's on your mind?
Brian?
Yes.
I almost called you Jim because we have a guy down here at work on the radio. His name's Jim. I was calling about a few things. One, you had this story about the schools, and the thing that just drives me insane all the time. Everybody, or on the left screams, "Oh, we got to have separation of church and state," because they think that keeps, prayer and all that out. Doesn't mean that. It means one thing and one thing only: that the United States government cannot elect a religion like the Church of England. That's all it means.
Yeah, all it means. Yeah, and that's a good thing for clarification. And we revisit the Constitution all the time here. And what Don is reminding us of, what the First Amendment prohibits, the only thing it prohibits Congress from doing is picking one denomination, one Christian denomination, and making that one Christian denomination the official church of the United States. that has to be supported with taxpayer dollars.
Right.
As long as Congress doesn't do that, as long as Congress doesn't pick the Methodist Church or the Baptist Church or the Roman Catholic Church or the Congregational Church or the Episcopal Church or the Charismatic Church and make it the official church of the United States and compel you and me to support it with taxpayer dollars, it can do anything it wants. That is the only thing that the Constitution prohibits Congress from doing. The other thing it can't do is restrict religious liberty anywhere in the United States of America. And that's
Right.
the central government. It's got its hands tied. Go ahead, Don.
But another thing, well, you can say in a way they have elected a religion. I call it the Church of Global Warming.
Yeah. That's right. And in fact, I have a piece. I won't take them to pull it out, but it's by a noted environmentalist who used to be part of the global warming movement. He says, look, global warming is now a religion. It has become a religion. It is no longer just a point of view. It is now a religion. It's got a god, Gaia, who must be worshipped. Blasphemy is any human imprint on the face of the globe. It's a religion.
But to get back to what I called about, you was talking about that Russell Moore guy, and I think he's a coward, and I think that other guy, he runs Chick-fil-A, is a coward. You got to have a backbone, because I'm totally blind, and I got to fight every day. So, I hate people who are weak. So the thing is, suck it up, get a backbone, stand for your principles, and if you got to, fight.
All right, Don. Well, listen, I appreciate your word and a great word of encouragement. And I was talking with this guy who heads up another major conservative radio network here in America, and what we were kind of lamenting together is here is somebody that you look to be a leader. You're counting on this guy to be a leader, to stand for your principles, to be out there in front, kind of showing us the way, defending our values, instilling us with courage and with hope and all that. And instead, he just is kind of weakening. All right, let's go to Liz in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Liz, welcome. What's on your mind? Liz, are you with me?
Yeah, hi.
Yes, hi. Go right ahead.
I just kind of a comment. We as Bible-believing Christians should not be surprised or shocked that all this is getting worse and worse. The Bible says it's going to, because the way the world is going to be when the Lord returns is terrible and upside down and backwards. But it should never stop us from defending the Word and defending the truth.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, very, very good, Liz. I appreciate that. And, one thing I might add, what Liz is talking about is it's possible to have a kind of a view of eschatology. Because, see, I'm not, well, anyway, I'll just leave that. That's a discussion for another day. But Liz's point is, look, we got to be faithful to the task. Don Wildman, our founder, said all the time, God has not called me to be successful. He's called me to be faithful. And that's what Liz is saying. That's what we got to do. All right, Matt, Moline, Illinois. Matt, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Regarding your call yesterday with Ken Ham, there's something about the story, the biblical account of Noah, that I haven't heard Ken Ham or you or anyone else bring up. The thing that surprised me the most, I have not seen the movie, nor do I plan to, is when Ken said that in the movie Noah was fighting people off the boat so they couldn't get on.
Right.
And first of all, Noah was preaching righteousness to the people. But the point that I haven't heard anyone bring up is that after the boat was completed and after all the animals were herded on, the door of the boat remained open another 7 days before God closed it himself.
Yeah,
and I believe that during that 7-day period that anyone out there who repented would have been allowed onto the boat. That was a grace period.
Mm-hmm.
And no one took them up on that grace period. And I thought that was an important point to bring up.
Yeah, well, very good. And we did talk about that one day. It probably was a day when you weren't able to be listening to the program, Matt, but we did talk about that one day. And this is what Matt is saying is exactly right. I mean, the picture in the movie is that all these people want to get on the ark because the rains have started, the flood has started. This is the only place where they can be saved. And so they're fighting to get on the ark, and Noah is driving them off with a battle axe and clubs and swords and all that kind of thing and killing them so they do not get onto the ark. But it's very, very clear that Noah was directed to go into the ark, and it was only, this is Genesis chapter 7, verse 10, after 7 days, the waters of the flood came upon the earth, and the Lord was the one that shut the door in closing Noah and his family inside the ark. Verse 16, those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. So Noah didn't even close the door of the ark himself. He went in. Flood hadn't started. It didn't start for a week. And like Matt was saying, in those 7 days, I'm sure Noah would have been happy to welcome anybody that wanted to seek salvation inside the ark. They just didn't want it. They weren't interested. They thought Noah was a lunatic to talk about this coming judgment. He was a preacher of righteousness for, who knows how much of his life, at least the last 100 years, 120 years of his life. He was a preacher of righteousness. People just weren't interested in the message. So he gets on the ark. The animals are on the ark for 7 days before the rains start, for 7 days before the Lord is the one who closes the door of the ark. So Noah didn't shut anybody out. The door of salvation, the door of redemption, the door of deliverance was open for a full week before the first raindrops fell. Good call, Matt. Appreciate that. Thank you. We'll be right back after the news. Be sure and stay with us. Focal Point, AFR Talk.